The National Liquor Traders Council has written an open letter to provincial liquor boards denouncing what it calls deliberate harassment of licensed township liquor outlets. They are claiming that small black-owned liquor traders have been subjected to relentless raids and inspections, which are aimed at driving them out of business. The council's spokesperson, Lucky Ntimane, speaks to me now from Johannesburg. So it sounds a bit like harking back to our past, Lucky, the kind of scenario that you describe. Are things really that bad that you believe that there's a deliberate targeting of legitimate, licensed liquor traders in a number of provinces? Which provinces are these?
Thank you so much, Lasizwe, for the opportunity. Look, we are facing an existential threat, as it were. In fact, much worse than what we had to encounter during COVID-19. I want to touch on one province specifically, which has shown itself to be uncaring towards liquor traders and has done all it could to ensure that, the taverns in that specific province are actually driven out of business in favor of retail chains. This is the Western Cape. And in that regard, Thulasizwe, I've had a chat with the Premier of the province earlier this evening, Premier Wende, to highlight our unhappiness in the way the liquor board in that province has conducted itself. Let me just maybe give you a brief background of the Western Cape Liquor Board. We only have 8,000 liquor outlets in the Western Cape which are licensed, and we have 30,000 liquor traders who operate as shebeens, meaning that they do not have licenses. But to put it into context, the Waterfront Mall in the Western Cape has got more liquor licenses as opposed to all the Cape Metropole townships in the Western Cape combined, meaning that Kailicha, Buletu, Langa, Philippi have less licenses than one shopping mall in the Western Cape. What has since happened is that we have seen a lot of harassment in our liquor traders that are operating in the townships, and in the main, these are colored and black township business people that are trying to support their families. So we feel that we are being harassed because, now we've got inspectors who are funded by retail chains who seek to penetrate our township space so that they can sell alcohol at the expense of our people who have been operating as taverns and bottle stores in the township space. So we take exception to this, and hence we reached out to Alan Wayne to say we need to fix this. Otherwise, we are going to show our true face, and he's not going to like it.
Objectively speaking, when these raids happen, as much as you don't welcome them, and you are deeming them to be harassment, but objectively speaking, when they do happen, do they pick up problematic issues?
No, actually there aren't any problematic issues. What we are worried about is the continuous harassment that our people are subjected to. These raids happen almost on a weekly basis, and in some instances on a bi-weekly and even monthly basis. We do not understand why an inspector will come into a tavern on a Monday on the 1st of June to ask for a liquor license and return again on the 8th of June to ask for the same thing.
I see.
And yet they're not going into the white areas or even places like the Waterfront or even Cavendish Square. They're only targeting black areas, and I've made it known to Alan Wing that to take exception to that. He has committed to sharing some of the stats to show me that this is not only happening in the township, but I know that there isn't any proof that he can put on the table to prove us otherwise. Gotcha.
So the Western Cape is one example. What other provinces? Because my sense is that the way you framed it, it sounded as if it's an issue that is occurring in a number of provinces. Hence, you starting out by saying that you are facing an existential crisis.
Yes, indeed, Thulasizwe. So if we look at KZN, maybe let me just give this background because I feel that is important for our viewers. In South Africa, we've got 9 provinces, which means that we've got 9 different liquor laws. So each and every province has got its own liquor law. So the Western Cape is using its law, obviously, to clamp down on liquor traders that are trying to make a living for themselves. But also we've got the KZN Liquor Authority, which makes it difficult to renew licenses. It takes almost 6 months for our traders to renew their licenses there. They have to be subjected to fingerprints with the police, which takes almost 4 months to get the results back. And in that process, it means that when you finally do get your fingerprints results back, you are now owing the liquor board because you have now failed to renew your license on time. So then penalties start to kick in. But also, if you look at Gauteng, where we have a situation where in the past few years, we have not been able to issue as many liquor licenses as is required because we have an issue of permits which has not been resolved and is before the courts. So we feel that our government is not taking us seriously in terms of ensuring that our people get the necessary papers to continue to operate in selling alcohol. We felt that, the issue of COVID-19 was going to be the death knell for us, but we were able to survive that. But we feel that we survived this so that our government can destroy us with admin issues that they are failing to resolve after all these years of begging them to do so.
Yeah. And what is the impact on your members of these raids that you're talking about and some of the difficulties around the laws, the automatic renewal regime that you would obviously prefer, as well as, the hike in fees in some of these provinces cumulatively, along with the bans on the trade and sale of alcohol that was intermittent in the last 2.5 years. What is the impact on your members?
So if you look at the Western Cape, for example, they have now introduced Section 164, the non-automatic renewal of license of liquor license, meaning that our liquor traders in the township space do not stand an automatic renewal regime. They have to almost be interrogated as if they are criminals for them to justify getting a liquor license. And that is not applicable to the outlets that are operating in these wide suburban areas. It's only applicable in black areas because that's where we get a lot of these inspectors that are almost pretending to be our customers because we see them every day. But also, if you look at the license renewal fees, in the Western Cape, it has increased by more than 50%. And in KZN, for example, it has also increased by about 10%. So we feel that our government does not take into consideration the fact that the liquor industry was the most hardest hit during COVID-19. Almost 26 weeks were lost with us not being able to trade. The least this government can do is to listen to us and to have empathy. But we have long since realized that they don't care about us, and it seems as if we have to find our way to support our families without any government intervention or support or whatsoever.
Open letter now, Lakintimane. What's your next course of action?
We are going to pursue a legal action in the Western Cape, but also we are monitoring other provinces as well that are anti-alcohol, because we believe that, the reason why you have liquor boards is so that you can safeguard and regulate the alcohol industry, but also to grow the sector. But if we look at the case in the Western Cape, which is a problem, the liquor authority sits under the community policy department. And in all other 8 provinces across the country, it sits on economic development. So the approach in the Western Cape in the first instance is wrong. It means that for them is to monitor how our people are trading in alcohol and clamp them down. They have no interest in growing our businesses. They have no interest in ensuring that we're able to, trade in a way that best supports the jobs that we're able to bring into the table. The alcohol industry employs over 1 million people. And if you drill it down to the tavern sector, we employ almost 250,000 people in the country. So we are an important sector. We need to be supported and not clamped down like we're seeing in the Western Cape with a cowboy like J.P. Smith coming full blazing, saying that we do not even deserve to be making an income out of alcohol. We need to be able to go hungry. And this is said on your channel last night. We take exception to that, and we made it known to Alan Green to say we do not like cowboys. We do not think, but tend to just say things that have no merit and no sense at all.
All right, Lakintimane, I've got to thank you for your time and your insights here on ENCA. He's from the National Liquor Traders Council, and he speaks on behalf of that organization.